going into this one. Wow, Robert, you're like you have a crystal ball there.
So are you trying to say that I'm reading your mind?
You're reading the life that is happening.
Telling
I'm not sure how you're doing this, but keep on doing it.
telling the future, so to speak. I do have
Mhm.
a tiny crystal ball here somewhere. I'll have to pull it out one day.
'Cause the Monday when you approached the team building exercise, I was heavily involved with that, and this week has been finding a way to lead from a position without authority,
Okay.
and it has been a tremendous challenge. So I'm very eager to see and hear the golden nuggets of today because I'm going to be applying them once more.
Perfect. For some reason, I feel kind of laggy. Bear with me here.
Yeah, me too,
Uh,
man.
one second. Well, I can appreciate that. I think that we at least got that live going through YouTube. Let me see if I can't do something here. I got a lot of stuff open. One second. Somebody can let Vicky in. That'd be awesome. Let me get rid of this. Uh, that shouldn't be making a difference. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah. Well,
Oh, and here comes Willie. For some reason, I feel kind of a little bit laggy. You would bring me food right when I'm going live, wouldn't you? What is that? Food, egg salad sandwiches. Mm.
Yeah, you are lagging a little bit. Your lips are moving, but it's not matching what you are saying. So, yeah.
Here, let me try something real quick. Mic check, mic check. How about now?
Yeah, better.
All right. All right. Yay! Technology. Gotta love it when it works, right? Welcome to our Monday Mastermind. We were briefly speaking before we start rolling camera here. Uh, Virgil thinks that I have a crystal ball, and some might say that I do. I like to say it's the universe and the way that it talks to me. So most times what ends up happening, I I look at the grand spectrum of where we're at personally, and I think about, okay, well, what is one of the best things that I could bring to light or give some kind of value to those of us that are around, those of us that are showing up at the particular point in time. So today it is week 33, and we're going to talk today about leading with authority or without authority, excuse me. And this information I'm going to talk to you about primarily comes from a book that I've been mentioning time and time again. I don't think anybody's ran out and got it yet, but if you haven't, definitely take a look at it. I'm gonna give you some insight. Yeah, there you go. Rita wins. That's it. How to lead when you're not in charge by Clay Scroggins. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. There's some bullet points and things that I want to pull out of there to help guide you guys. So we will be dropping some gold nuggets, gold bars, and all that other fun stuff. But the way we always start today's show is we like to reach out into the audience. You hear the wins from you guys, give you guys some time to share those wins. I love to live vicariously through those wins. Part of those wins I'll discuss. Rita, if you remind me, if I don't say anything about those wins and why we do what it is that we do at the very beginning, it'll tie into some of the things that I'm going to mention throughout the speaking portion of this. But so that's it. Welcome to Monday Mastermind. If you're watching us live on YouTube, feel free to join us. You can go to live.thelosttransition.com. Pop in live. It's way more fun live. but you get to be a part of the community. We are building out a website actively. I'm very happy to say I'm very, 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 very close to having it go completely live. Then we're going to kick it up a notch and everything will be all internal, but we'll still be out there broadcasting to the world. So that's our show. That's how we do it. Who wants to start us off with some wins? Anybody got some wins from last week they want to share? Ooh, Vicky. She raised her hand quick. What's up, girl? How are you? Give me time to
I
get.
tell you, last week was the busiest week that I've had in so long, and I found it quite challenging just being keep up and stay organized through everything that I was having to do because I was following up with many people, talking with many different people, and I did get another show in two different programs. I had to wait for the money to come in though because it went to my Stripe account. 7 day hold. So, because it was my first Stripe transaction, I'm accepting that. I mean, I can wait some days. Yeah. And it's set up proper and receive and everything. So I am thrilled to no end. But I'm gonna have to get really organized because of being able to handle this amount of people coming at me and needing help. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to like really stay on top of my game and stay organized.
Right
So
on.
I'm excited. Woohoo!
I'm excited for you, and the energy is coming through so much that you're coming in choppy even.
Tubby, 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 tubby. Yeah, I'm excited. I have waited a long time to see all this come to fruition. I wanted to be part of teams like I'm in right now with this and a couple two other teams, but I've all teams like this for the last 20 years. I just feel incredibly blessed right now. And I'm just so happy. Gives me goosebumps to know how far I've come in the last year. Yeah, but it's
You
been a
deserve
long
it.
journey, way longer. Yeah, yeah.
Well, you deserve it. You've been working hard towards it, and that's part of that compression that I have spoken about, you know.
hmm
So I'm mostly excited what I picked up on, and I see Virgil picked up on it too. Your first Stripe transaction, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
hmm
What did that come from? What cell did that come from? What did you do to get that?
I got a pro member in the 2KPS, a pro member upgrade in the 2KPS.
Okay.
There's like several different levels to talk too much about that, so I won't. I'm really excited about it. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Congratulations, girl. Congratulations. We're excited for it. And like I say, you definitely deserve it. And thank you for sharing. You are a superstar, my friend. You are a superstar. Can't wait to hear what next week and the next week and the next week brings us.
I have 8 serious people I'm working with. I've got 65 tour takers, 75 leads in one program, 65 tour takers, and 8 serious people that I'm talking with. So it's like hard to come up with all of it. And it's so cool in the same breath. It's all exciting.
Well, there you go.
Coming up.
Hey, you've got the tools to do it. You've got the support and the backing as well, right? Put them in your CRM, put notices of
Some
remember.
of the CRM, yes, I need to get all I way faster than I'm really ready, but that's okay. Anyhow,
You're ready.
I will regardless. This makes me have more pressure to get that. So that's all. And
Hey,
I'm up. And I wrote a PDF that's gonna be in the one group in the next day or two. So I'm really excited about that.
I'm going to leave you with this. You are ready. And there is nothing to it but to do it, my friend. So congratulations on all your recent success. Very happy to
Thank
hear.
you.
Thank you for sharing. Virgil, what you got, my brother? Well, you're muted.
A lot like Vicky. These days, I also love going after Vicky because we're actually experiencing the same thing. That's the echo of a community. When you get active, all of a sudden, you get to see all these intakes of people that are paying interest in things that you have to do, and you have to be forced into action constantly. My share is wow, it's a story of consistency. It's a story of following through the previous session we had because all through the week, on one hand, the challenge was remaining constant with all these different things that I was pursuing this opportunity that is uh, slowly but surely coming to terms, I would say. I have also have this whole new life around this space that I have to manage, and that involves building a team and managing it. So all through this week was a lot of that, finding the right people, going through exactly what was said previously, gauging where their interest and their goal fall and trying to line them up. And since I am the outsider in these new spaces that I'm coming in because these are all people that have grown together, experienced the same social dynamics together, and the understanding is that they value the input, the marketing input, strategy, and leadership that I can bring to the table without necessarily giving me that leadership title still. I can feel it in the interaction in the sense that when something is coming from me, it's said and well received. But there's also this slight pushback or shift in how it's executed, right? The direction is not always necessarily given to me at the first stage. Second stage, once it's attempted, it comes back. Then I have to correct, and then I have to assure whatever is happening. But all through the week, it has been that consistently being able to deal with people and applying these to navigate the relationship. One team actually has collapsed, and I saw it as a win because through its collapse, it's also forced a restructuring, and I learned a few things there that I have to keep in mind. And the other one is just spending out of my control in the sense that they're going tenfold in the interest, and I have to keep up. So it's been a challenging week, and there's also more to come. So I look forward again to this conversation today. I need some of these nuggets. I definitely need them.
That's a good problem to have, huh, Virgil?
Yeah,
I have a
as
Vicky.
long as you can manage it.
I love it. Somebody once said something about you can tell a man how busy he is by looking at his calendar. So if you're not filling
Yeah,
up your calendar,
speaking of which, calendars are filling up in all direction. Oh man, wow. I healed. I thank you for that, for the
that's
light.
a cool little tool you guys might just see in the Lost Transition. Shameless plug. Shameless plug. Appreciate you sharing, brother. Dale, what you got, brother?
Everybody hear me okay?
Absolutely. Loud and
Okay,
clear.
cool.
That's good to see.
First of all, Vicky, I am so excited for you and happy and proud to see the way you've exploded over the last year. It's absolutely amazing. I am really excited for you. And Virgil, going back to what I said a little bit on Wednesday, when you share from the heart and you share with intention the way you do, it's put out there, it's put out in the universe with such high energy and such high vibration. People can't help but take notice and absorb that and take it in the way it is presented. So it's just amazing to see what you're doing, brother. It
Oh,
really
thank
is.
you.
And
Thank
and
you.
I just wish so much more of the same for you. Um,
Oh, thank you,
it
Dan.
really is amazing to see, and look forward to seeing so much more from you. Um,
Oh,
very, very, very cool. Um, and as far as what I've got to share for me, the last week I took, and I'm a little kind of confused as to what to share. I mentioned that I wanted to go and share my story, and going back and thinking there are so many points in time in my life that go into getting me where I am. Even back to the first time I left home, right, and being out in California and being away from my parents and having to go on interviews, right, and having to stand up for myself and go talk to complete strangers and tell them why they should hire me, and to give me a job, right, when I didn't have, now I had rent to pay. I didn't have mommy and daddy to, cook for me and buy my groceries. And I had a roommate. Now, granted, we were friends for 25 years at the time, so that was well and good, but I still had a responsibility to pay my half of the rent, right? And so that was one issue. And then going into there was another part that when I joined, Robert, you may know, remember Empower Network, and being part of a group in Empower Network and working with John Oakes and the other team lead there, and the mentoring I got with those guys, and working with David Wood's brother Will on NLP training and all of that, and that certainly shaped the mental aspect of it, and then working with you and working with Rex. So it's hard. There's so many parts, and I don't want to sit and talk for an hour on a Facebook Live. So what of it do I include, in a 10-minute presentation? So that's kind of what I'm struggling with now, to try to put it all together and really make it make sense in a way that people are going to understand who I am and what I stand for. So it's kind of a work in progress there. So that's kind
So
of what I'm struggling with now.
so struggle no more, brother. You're part of the inner circle, so let's book some time and let's get it figured out. We'll
Well,
make
that's what I was going to book, up
yeah,
beginning of the month here with you to,
sure.
kind of put it together, because they're kind of separate things, but they all go into making who I am today, and what I, not only in my coaching, but in the way I market and the way I deliver my message when I do, um, you know, when I do my trainings.
It's called a hero story, my brother.
Yeah,
Hero
yeah,
story, and you can wrap that around a hero funnel, and we can totally take care of you, brother. No worries at all.
okay,
Reach out. We'll get
okay,
we'll get you squared away. Appreciate you, brother. And
yep,
and I love that you showed up, you know. We're very excited for Vicky and all the things that we've seen her done over the year. And I can tell you one really big thing about Vicky, she shows the F up.
yep,
She's
she does.
she's
Not
I
only
can
here.
I can count on my hand how many times she's missed, you know what I mean? So
uh, I know, and she shows up in the other group too. I
yeah.
can't recall how many meetings she's missed. You
Oh
know,
yeah. I mean,
um,
don't get twisted. I'm sure she learns a lot of stuff here, but she learns where she goes and
yep,
she shows up and she implements, and that's really the key factor, right? As you mentioned, you know, we've known each other for a long time, and I'm happy to see you say the things that you're doing and see you doing the things that you're doing because yeah, it is about time, bro. Let's get you squared away for sure. Thank you for sharing, Dale. Keep your eyes out for Dale. He's getting ready to make some big moves, my friends. Vicky, did you want to say something real quick? Okay. Jorge, what you got, my friend? You
Well,
hanging out flying airplanes or what's going on?
thank you. Yeah, I have a couple of things that I want to share.
Sure.
And my passion on as an activity is flying, and I train on Sundays on my flight simulator. But that was bought under an account that my son owns. That is a Steam account. So that created a problem because for months, I've been trying to buy like a special airplane or a special livery, and the transaction will never go through. I contact Microsoft support. They were not able to handle, to handle that. And finally, my son got involved, and we were able to get that straight. So now I have the chance to fly whatever airplane I want to fly, and that or make it look any way I want.
Very nice.
That's one thing that it was for months that I was trying to accomplish that. The other thing is a project that I got involved almost 2 years ago, and I'm involved in a few things, and that's according to experts, that's not the right thing. You should be focusing one thing. But in this thing that I got involved, I don't necessarily need to recruit to form a team. And we were supposed to launch on September of last year, but it launched this past Sunday, 1 week ago. I mean, the 2 Sundays ago, and this thing is exploding. So I'm really happy the way that this thing is going, because it's really going to help.
Good.
It's something that is we use blockchain, and it's based on disrupting sports. So and sports is something that people are really passionate about. I heard somebody talking a, 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 a few minutes away, talking about a football team, the Dallas.
Cowboys.
Cowboys. That's right.
So yeah, people are very passionate about that. So that's
Yeah, don't be
what
afraid.
I wanted to share.
Well, good, man. Hey, so when you do your flight simulator, are you doing it with an actual like flight yoke?
Actually, I have a joke and I have a stick, and I feel I feel more confident, or more comfortable with the stick.
I love your accent too, by the way. You know who Jeff Dunham is, Jorge?
Jeff, what?
Jeff Dunham. Jeff
Mm,
Dunham, Dunham.
not sure. Is he into
He's a
flight
comedian.
simulating?
He's a comedian.
He's a
No, yeah,
ventriloquist.
I don't know
Yeah,
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
sure.
awesome. He's awesome.
you should look him up. He does a routine.
No, I know him. I mean, he uses the terrorist and the
Yep.
Jose, the
Jalapeno on the stick.
jalapeno on the stick. Yeah.
He's awesome.
Love it, brother. Love it. Thanks for sharing, man. I can't wait to see you get back up in the air again. That'll be great to hear. Thank you.
Well, I mean, I'm going through the motions and kind of starting from almost from scratch, because I was told that I had to get a student license.
Yeah, I understand.
After being a commercial pilot with agricultural, I had to get a student license. But well, I gotta lower my head and do things if I wanna accomplish what I want, because I'm not the one in control of that. So I made an application and I'm waiting for a student license.
There you go, brother. Well, let us know when you get it, man. Definitely share that. That'll be a great win for us to listen to as well. Thank you for sharing, brother.
Thank you.
Rita, did you have something that you wanted to add? Do the dance, do the dance.
Okay, yes. Hi, everybody. Um, did not watch the Cowboys game, but congrats. Heard a lot of stuff about Shador, but that's another
Yeah,
subject. So my win this week had to do with being in coaching this weekend, and it had to do with the word focus. And
yeah.
although it may be simple for some, it is not because I'm very literate. It wasn't as simple for me, and I had an epiphany. So I'm glad I received that. So that was huge for me. It just solidified everything. All right, I got it now. All right, focus. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well,
Yes, that's nice.
if I can say something, Rita, if you want to improve your focus, use nicotine patches. I'm doing that.
Do what now?
Okay.
Nicotine patches.
Nicotine patches.
Yep.
Okay, not a fan of nicotine, but
Well, I mean, this world is so weird. We've been lied so much by the people in control. I mean, big companies, uh, government, that is not funny.
yeah.
So nicotine is one of those things.
Well,
I
Right on.
started using. Uh, I've been using it for a little, like a month, maybe a month and a half, and it's fantastic.
Hey, Jorge, we're gonna have to start a new podcast or show about all those fun things that you're talking about. Focus,
Sure,
focus, focus.
anytime.
I see that. I see that focus there.
Yeah, great.
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to mute you there. Were you done, Rita?
yes.
Okay, cool. I didn't want to interrupt. I think we lost somebody there. Let me go ahead and share what we got for the day.
We lost Dr. Lisa.
Uh-oh. Well, she left right at the best part.
She'll be back.
She'll have
No
to,
duct tape.
yeah, no duct tape today, no duct tape today, but it is something again that I wanted to bring to everybody's attention. This is, excuse me, week 33. I'm going to be discussing leading without authority, right? This is key takeaways from the book that I've mentioned to you guys before, How to Lead When You're Not in Charge. If you don't know, I'm not a big reader. I've got, maybe this many books on my shelf. I haven't read through, one, two, three, four, maybe four or five of them. What am I trying to say? I'm not a big reader. So I don't really recommend a whole lot of books because I can only recommend from what I know. How to Lead When You're Not in Charge is a book that I picked up and read over a decade ago, and it made quite a difference in my life. And in many cases, it went back to when I talk about reading Anil Gupta's book and picking up that word awareness, right? It gave me quite a bit of awareness in the aspect of the things that I was actually doing but without realizing that I was doing it, right? And many times I talk also about how, people will say, well, I'm not a born salesman or, I haven't been selling all my life like you, Robert. And I say, yeah, you have, right? We've all been selling since birth. Just many of us forgot how to sell or we got away from that line of communication. Maybe the communication was just simply different. Well, there's a lot of times in our lives, especially on this journey, if you're going from this 9 to 5 to, working for yourself, there's going to be a point in time where you're going to have to build teams. We talk about this all the time, right? We dive even deeper into these things when we go into the How To Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and even deeper on my inner circle coaching. But there's a point in time where you, as my leader told me, there's a point in time where you're going to have to step into your power, right? And step into what it is that is known as leadership. But there's ways that you can lead without being egotistical. There's also things that you can do to show authority and leading with authority instead of, being looked at like some kind of crazy dictator, right? When you're learning some of these things in order to build a team, especially when it comes to managing a team, these are great things to learn. So we're going to discuss a couple of things. I've got some definitions that I will probably bring up while we're doing this. If you haven't read the book, there's something that I'm going to refer to that you've probably never heard of. So definitely make sure that you have pen and paper and you're ready to take some notes, okay? That being said, authority and leadership. So on these slides, I'm pretty much just going to speak from my heart. And like I mentioned, I might pull out some definitions. But many people think that there's this equality, if you will, between authority and leadership, when really, when you look at leadership at the brass tacks of things, or you know me, how I like to pull things apart, it's influence, right? It's not really a title at all. Leadership in and of itself is a person that's able to influence other people. Think about that for a moment. Any leader or somebody that you would go and look at as a leader, well, that's what they do. They're just good at influencing people. It's even funnier too, because I have a friend of mine that I've known for the same amount of time, if not longer, as Dale and Vicky, and he came into my inbox today. He was like, "Man, you and Darren are the only ones that are doing something different." I said, "Well, leaders aren't supposed to follow, we're supposed to lead, right?" So it would make sense to me that I would be doing something different than what everybody else is doing, which is one of the things that we encourage people here at the Lost Transition to do. Like, see what's going on, what's out there, but then make it your own so that you're doing your own thing and it doesn't look like you're just being some kind of follower. By doing things that are different than what everybody else is doing, that's still a form of leadership, right? And it shows authority, and you're being authoritative of yourself, really. That comes down to self-leadership. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before, but there is such a thing, right? But the overall goal throughout all of this is to convert influence into visible results. So the things I'm going to speak to you about, obviously, I'm speaking to you on a psychological level at this particular point in time, like always. But as mentioned, these come from my personal knowledge and then from the book, How to Lead When You're Not in Charge. One of the biggest takeaways that I had, and I don't know if you guys will get that out of reading it, because again, everybody's got their own different ways of learning. But I got the power of influence out of that, and understanding that whether you were the teacher at the front of the room or whether you were the student that was in the seat, you still had the ability to have leadership over everybody within that room based off of what you said, how you said it, and when you said it, right? So when you understand these things and you learn a little bit more about the power of influence, well, now we're again talking about going back into an authority role and leadership. Okay? Hopefully somebody went ding. But there's four different behaviors that we're going to talk about to lead from any seat, whether you're at the front of the table, at the desk, or whatever, or that person that's in the seat right now. Maybe you don't have a team. Maybe you're watching on the sidelines on YouTube and thinking about this whole can I do it 9 to 5 and go into working for myself. You most certainly can. It will take some time. You got to learn some things, right? But here's the four behaviors that you have to really pay attention to. Number one, lead yourself, right? A saying or a phrase comes up into my head from my drill sergeant. He used to say, lead me, drag me, or oh, wait, what was it? Damn, I can't believe I screwed that one up. I haven't said it in a while. Lead me, follow me, or I'll drag your ass. That's it. Lead me, follow me, or I'll drag your ass. So I can say this again from my personal experience. Someone from a military perspective, or if you've done sports ever in your life, you would understand that. But if you haven't been in that type of role, then you would have to learn that type of thing. You would have to understand, well, there is some leading, and that leading has to come internally from me. That goes up to, simple little things you've heard people say, just waking up and even making your bed, right? And part of this whole thing in collaboration, what we're talking about, was because of a conversation that Rita and I were talking about manifestation. And I briefly talked to Virgil about as well. Like, so I wanted to talk about and tie in closing the loop and how it's all related to when you learn that you're leading yourself and you're speaking to yourself sub to the subconscious to make things happen, to manifest or put things out there because you did something good for yourself. Maybe it was making your bed, putting out that good vibration, but to tell the story so that everybody knows what I'm talking about. A couple of months ago, I put out that vibe. I need a check in the mail or two, but I hadn't checked my mail, right? Well, I mean, we check it, we go get it. It was in a pile. There was literally a 6-inch pile of mail there. And looking through that pile, I had two things in there. One was a check for $200 that I did not expect. And then the other was my debit card for got backup for one of the companies that I share with people. Didn't expect it. Going back to what I'm talking about. Number one, leading yourself. Number two, choose positivity. I'm going to share something with you, and I trust it won't be too boring, but it's a story that I learned over a decade ago. I put it into a video format. If you've seen it, great. But I'm going to try to share that with you guys today. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. I might have to stop my share and reshare so that you see it. But number three, think critically. Think critically. Number four, reject passivity. Passivity, and we'll probably talk a little bit about that. And in fact, since we're on it, passivity, so that you guys know what that means in case you're wondering, it's waiting for permission or perfect clarity. It's the opposite of initiative. So we can't just be sitting there. What comes to my mind after reading that is like, a lot of times waiting. God, give me a sign to show me that this is the right path that I'm on. You know what I'm saying? We're looking for that real thing when, in essence, all we have to do is take that initiative. I was talking to the wife yesterday about this website that I'm building. Part of my win that I didn't share, and those of you that saw in the inner circle saw what will know what I'm talking about. Um, my win was I looked at the management of how I had the website. There was literally 15 buttons on there. And do you know my friend Rita was so nice? She said, "Man, that looks really awesome." And everybody else said it looks really cool. And then something hit me. Said, man, why you try to make it more complicated? I said, people are going to go in there and look at it and see 15 buttons and be like, ah! So my win is I narrowed it down to like 8 buttons. All right. So when y'all see it, you'll be like, oh, all right, okay, now I see what he's talking about. Anyway, bonus challenge up. This is what we're going to talk about as well. This is part of what I said that you probably haven't heard about, right? But those 4 things, let's dig into them. Leading yourself. We briefly talked about your calendar, right? We said, I don't know where it came from, but you could tell how a man works or whatever if you just look at his calendar. In this business, if you don't have your calendar filled up and you're not having conversations, well, you're not doing a whole lot of business, right? Second thing that it matters when it comes to leading yourself is your overall energy. Before you do and start anything, we've talked about this. What is your energy level like? Many times there's, maybe you're just not up to it. You don't feel like it. Those specific times where, oh man, I know I gotta get this done because all these people are depending on me. Then you have to go into it, right? So you have to adjust your energy so that you can go and do that. And then I want to briefly kind of talk a little bit about feedback loops and closing the loop in general, because this is something that I've talked to my inner circle team about a little bit, right? So closing the loop when you understand how this works, because it took me a little bit of time to understand it too, is rewarding yourself for those wins, which Rita, you won't need to remind me because this is what I'm talking about. Part of why I start the show off with the wins is because that's a way for all of us to celebrate in your energy when you're sharing those wins. Okay. By celebrating other people's wins as if they were your own, that gives you the energy as well. And then by having that energy, what happens is your energy level literally will rise enough so that those things can be manifested into your life. Now, once those things are manifested into your life, as an example, a $200 check out of nowhere that I didn't expect, well, you need to take some of that $200 and do something good for yourself to close that loop. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. Okay, so if you make $100, go spend 10 on yourself. You want to do that so that it triggers your subconscious to think more like that, right? And Rita and I were briefly talking about this, and you'd have to go back into some of the Monday masterminds back when Gene was showing up, right? There's ways to do that to where you can start manifesting more things and leading more. And when you start understanding how to manifest and how to ask at specific times or do the power of suggestion, like I mentioned, all these little tools culminate together, right? To just, in essence, makes you a better communicator. So lead yourself. So there should be 3 non-negotiables. Make them daily, make them weekly, whatever it is that you desire. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what you have to do. If you do them daily, then that's even better. But if you don't, then at least try to have 3 non-negotiables. That means 3 things that you're going to make sure that you get done. We've talked about this before briefly and saying, one of the best ways that I could ever possibly try to teach you to get things done is write down a list and find out, okay, what's the most important thing to get done on that list? Let's say within 24 hours to 72 hours, you know? And make sure that you get those things done. Those are the non-negotiables if you ever hear me talking about that, right? Now, what happens by creating those non-negotiables and actually getting them done, now you've got micro wins, right? Now you can say, all right, I got that done. So that goes back to releasing whatever those wins are. That's why when I say, okay, we start the show, get your wins ready. Because I want to get you into that higher vibrational state before we even start the show. Now, when you're doing that for yourself personally, those micro wins, that's going to build confidence. Ultimately, that confidence is what you need to be able to own the message and go out there and share whatever that message is. So there's a lot more in depth when it comes to leading yourself, obviously, right? But again, I believe that if you're prior military and you're watching this, or you've been in sports, then you're really going to understand this a lot. So if you're not, or this is new concept to yourself, then congratulations. Welcome. I'm glad that we could explain this to you. So build yourself a 1 week scorecard and then rate yourself. How did you do throughout that last week? Did I get those three things done? Were they daily? Did I get them done every day? I've mentioned this time and time again. I'm not perfect. I don't stand up here and pretend to be perfect. I'm doing some DDP yoga. I missed one the other day. Did I kick myself in the ass for it? Yes. I'm like, oh, I got to get better at it. Now I need to go take that and put that to my non-negotiable, right? That's the easiest way to fix those things. If you find something that you need to be doing, yet you're not, then make them a non-negotiable. But those are ways to help lead yourself. Um, Choose positivity. This might this might seem like the easiest thing, right? Choose positivity. Oh man. No, not always, right? Somebody always comes around and screws something. Somebody with a bad attitude, we gotta just take one on the cheek and decide what it is, what our attitudes needs to be. But I'm gonna share this video with you. I need to stop sharing and then reshare just to make sure that I have the audio right. Um, just want to double check. Share sound. Because it's it's one of those things that was a pivotal moment in my life, just like that book that I'm sharing with you, How to Lead When You're Not in Charge, just like, Anil Gupta's book, Immediate Happiness. These are all little moments that happened in my life that changed who I am to build me to this place to where I am now. But this video I'm going to share with you, this is over 10 years ago that I did this. Okay.
Is called The Two Choices Story.
Can you guys hear it?
I read this actually some time ago online, and it literally helped change my perception on how I wanted to wake up and live every day of my life. I hope that after listening to this story of two choices, that it will have a similar impact on you as well. If this story moves you, I just simply ask that you consider sharing it with others to help brighten their day as well. As you read or listen to this, simply replace the name that you're going to hear for yours and see if this story actually resonates with you. I want you to remember as well, it's the choices that we make on a daily basis that impact the way we all live in today's society. I hope this story will fill your heart with joy, your mind with wisdom, and your lungs with the breath of fresh air. I want you to stay blessed in all you do. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy. The story is called The Two Choices Story. The author is unknown, but it's based off of a true story. And it goes a little like this. Robert was the kind of guy you'd love to hate. He was always in a good mood and always had something positive to say. When someone would ask him how he was doing, he would reply, "If I were any better, I'd be twins." He was a unique manager because he had several waiters who had followed him around from restaurant to restaurant. The reason the waiters followed Robert was because of his attitude. He was a natural motivator. If an employee was having a bad day, Robert was there telling the employee how to look at the positive side of the situation. Seeing this style really made me curious, so one day I went up to Robert and I asked him, "I don't get it. You can't be a positive person all of the time. How do you do it? Robert replied, each morning I wake up and I say to myself, Robert, you have two choices today. You could choose to be in a good mood, or you could choose to be in a bad mood. I choose to be in a good mood. Each time something bad happens, I can choose to be a victim, or I can choose to learn from it. I choose to learn from it. Every time someone comes to me complaining, I can choose to accept their complaining, or I can point out the positive side of life. I choose the positive side of life. Yeah, right. It's not that easy, I protested. Yes, it is, Robert said. Life is all about choices. When you cut away all the junk, every situation is a choice. You choose how you react to situations. You choose how people will affect your mood. You choose to be in a good mood or a bad mood. The bottom line is, it's your choice how you live life. I reflected on what Robert said soon thereafter I left the restaurant industry to start my own business. We lost touch, but I often thought about him when I made a choice about life instead of reacting to it. Several years later, I heard that Robert did something that you're never supposed to do in a restaurant business. He left the back door open one morning and was held up at gunpoint by 3 armed robbers. While trying to open the safe, his hands shaking from nervousness, slipped off the combination. The robbers panicked and shot him. Luckily, Robert was found relatively quick and rushed to the local trauma center. After 18 hours of surgery and weeks of intensive care, Robert was released from the hospital with fragments of the bullets still in his body. I saw Robert about 6 months after the accident. When I asked him how he was, he replied, "If I were any better, I'd be twins. Want to see my scars?" I declined to see his wounds, of course, but I did ask him what had gone through his mind as the robbery took place. First thing that went through my mind was that I should have locked the back door, Robert replied. Then as I lay on the floor, I remembered that I had two choices. I could choose to live, or I could choose to die. I chose to live. Weren't you scared? Did you lose consciousness? I asked. Robert continued. The paramedics were great, but they kept telling me that I was going to be fine. But when they wheeled me into the emergency room and I saw the expressions on their faces and the doctors and nurses, I got really scared. In their eyes I read, "He's a dead man." I knew I needed to take action. "What did you do?" I asked. "Well, there was a big burly nurse shouting questions at me," said Robert. "She asked if I was allergic to anything." "Yes," I replied. The doctors and nurses stopped working as they waited for me to reply. I took a deep breath and yelled, "Bullets!" Over their laughter, I told them, "I'm choosing to live. Operate on me as if I'm alive, not dead." Robert lived thanks to the skill of his doctors, but also because of his amazing attitude. I learned from him that every day we have the choice to live fully. Attitude, after all, is everything. So you have two choices now. You can save this story for yourself and not share it, or you can forward it to the people that you care about, and hopefully it'll make a difference in their lives. So I hope you enjoyed this and we'll see you on the next video.
So I hope that you did enjoy that two choices story. And again, that's something that was such a pivotal story. Might not seem like it would be such a big deal, but it was for me. And that's one way that I look at things now when I wake up in the morning, to where I'm always positive. Right? There's not many times that I'm ever negative. Even when things come into my life, it's like I remember all these trainings come to mind, and automatically, like a ninja, I've got my shit suit on and things just bounce off. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that came flying at me. Good thing we were ready for that. Or, oh, well, this must be here for a reason, right? Those types of things. Anyway, I didn't mean to bore you. I trust you guys enjoyed that. Moving on, think critically, because I know we're just over time here in just a moment. But bring solutions with the problem. Like, even if you're not that person that's in charge or at the front of the desk, if you can bring solutions to whatever the problem is, man, That's a beautiful thing. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about, suggesting the right thing at the right time. Because many times, not all of us have the answers, but collectively, we could probably come up with something, right? Especially if you're in the right room with the right people. That led to say, it makes me think, are you in the right room with the right people? Because if you're in network marketing and you're not in the right room with the right people, then that's not going to help you out either. When it comes to thinking critically, you need to be able to spot friction. Like for me, it's easy for me to spot friction. It's not hard to determine if you just pay attention, you have some awareness or even spatial awareness to the things that are going on around you. And then, let's think about what's one tiny improvement that you can make this week to whatever it is that you're doing. What's just one thing that you realize? Maybe it's, I jokingly joke with Virgil, maybe it's the lack of the word basically. Right? One improvement. Think critical though, okay? Last but not least, reject passivity. Reject passivity. And yeah. So when it comes to that, the definition, take the next visible step without overstepping, move it one square at a time, in other words. But when it comes to passivity, I did want to read that one. I thought that I had, no, I guess not. Well, passivity is just, you just accepting things happening around you. The best thing that I can come up with as an example is like, oh, well, that's what God's dealt me. Oh, I guess we were meant to live in this trailer park. Or I guess I was meant to live in this van down by the river. Whatever the case is, right? Reject that passivity. You don't even want that in your life. It really does go back to and connects with the type of energy that you portray, what you're going and putting out there, right? We're like magnets, right? Here's the big one here that you haven't heard about. Give me just a moment, hold it here. Challenging up what's called the DEAR framework, DEAR framework. So write this down so that you have it for later. First thing you want to do is describe. So you would say whatever the facts are, describe what the situation is without laying blame. It's not like, yeah, we know we're all screwed because of Johnny here or Tony or Mary or whatever their name is. We don't want to lay blame. And then the next thing in the deer is to express. So what's the impact that Johnny or Tanya or whatever her name was that impacted the business? And then we want to ask, okay, what's the proposal or what can we do to fix it? And then the result, if we fix it, what's the expected wins and what would be the timeline, right? The example again just popping up into my head. Well, look, I know that we're behind schedule now because so and so dropped the ball. Insert the name is what somebody would normally say, right? That's not true leadership, though. That's that's Johnny Blow going back and trying to stab the other guy in the back and throw him under the bus, right? No, no, we don't want to teach that. That's not what we do here. Look, I understand, man. We're all in a conundrum over what happened. We're not going to lay any blame here. And we know that this is impacting the business by hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. What if we went and did this? Because I believe that if we do this, especially right now, we could have a turnaround on those loss of numbers within, let's say, 30, 60, even 90 days. Okay? That's how I would say it. That's how I would express that kind of thing. That's how I would use the deer framework. Right? And again, this is mostly, I guess, if you're in that situation, use it. That's even if you're that person that's in the back of the the room. You can still use this describe, express, ask, result for things that you want to try to accomplish within that unity or within that group. Jorge, what you got, buddy? Make it quick. I only got a couple more slides.
Thank you, Robert. That was a fantastic video, and I lived it. When I got my my airplane accident, I got burned 78% of my body on second and third degree burns. And I chose to take it as a challenge. With 30%, you can actually die. You can get infected and die. And actually, that happened with a fellow that got burned 30%, that it was across my room in the same floor. He died, but I chose to take it as a challenge. That's why I'm talking to you now.
Amen, brother. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad that you did raise your hand to share that. Thank you, brother. Yeah, it's crazy when you think about it, man. The mind can do so many things, and it can even talk you out of doing great things. So to end this up, scorecard and KPIs, right? I want you to take from what we talked about today and give yourself a lead score, like on a scale of 1 to 10. How did you do last week, right? And then what is that one thing that you could do that you can improve on that you didn't get done from last week? If you have to, look at them first thing in the morning, write them down 3 times, things that you want to accomplish or 3 things that you want to go get into your life. Right before bed, do it again. I'm only saying that again to follow up with the conversations that we've been having and what Rita and I were talking about having that manifestation. So we're tying in how to lead when you're not in charge, manifestation, and closing the loop. Okay? Just so that we're clear here. Um, how many replies did you have last week? How many bookings did you do? What's your revenue? Like, are you on track? Are you collecting the data? That's the big thing, right? What's the scorecard KPIs? That means key performance indicators. If you're not looking at these things, you need to. Because the numbers don't lie. I say this all the time. Numbers don't lie. But if you're not looking at those key performance indicators, you're never going to know. And I'm talking about numbers like how many people you're talking to on a daily basis, how many people per hour, how many people per week, how many of those people actually got invited to whatever your presentation or demonstration is. All the fun stuff that we dig deep into the inner circle. So measure those if you're not. So commitments, this is it. Kind of tie it out. Think about what your big picture is. If you want to, you can list your 3 non-negotiables for the week in the chat there. If nothing else, if you don't do not anything else this week, book one conversation. I'm not even telling you to go have 5 conversations an hour like I do. Okay? And then learn a little bit more about this power of suggestion. And then my challenge to you is bring a guest with you next week. If you enjoy what we're doing, you're getting some clarity, you like it, you love it, you want some more of it, I challenge you to bring somebody next week so that they can get some clarity. And that's my piece for you guys. That's all I got. Dale, what do you got, brother? You got something you want to share? Thoughts, comments? Feel free to raise your hand, get in line.
Can you put
You
that
put
last?
the slide back up. I wasn't finished.
I most certainly can.
Thank
You
you.
know it. You're very welcome. All right, but get those non-negotiables. Write them down if you need to. That's really, I started learning that. That was one thing that they told us in the military. Is that write it down and then put like a box around it, so that whenever you got it done, you just check mark it. The DDP yoga, when I do it, it's kind of neat because when I finish it, there's got this fist that comes through. So yeah, it's done. Or it'll have this big X, and I'll be like, damn, what a loser I am. Anyway, Dale, you got something you wanted to share? And any questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, I actually did that video that you shared, Robert. I got to go find that because that was very powerful, at least for
Hey,
me.
I've got it. And did you notice I haven't aged a day?
But you're talking a little bit about manifestation and so on and so forth. And I know you probably read it if you were coached by Darren, because I know Michelle told me he wouldn't even coach them until they read this book. But there's a great book out there by Jerry and Esther Hicks called Ask and It Is Given. Um, if anybody hasn't read it, and you're in this space, you need to read it because I'm actually going to go back and read it again for the third time because I haven't read it in probably a year or so. So, and you can get it on Kindle. It's pretty, I think it's like $9.95 or something like that if you read easier, on a Kindle. So,
Hey, y'all
just
know
an
Janet
FYI.
Leger, right? Dale, Vicky.
What's that?
Y'all know Janet Leger, right?
Yes.
I got her book.
I do
Okay.
too. Yeah,
Good
it's a
stuff
really
on
good one.
I need to I didn't know she wrote a book.
Yes, it's a really good book. Yeah.
Is yours
Okay.
signed, Vicky? Did she sign yours?
Yes, she did.
Oh, nice.
I'll
I've
have
known her for 20 years, so
Yeah.
or longer. Yeah.
That's
I
what
I
the only
I
reason
just
some of these. Sorry, go ahead.
I just know Janet through Now Lifestyle, so but I don't know her that well, but I'll have to go
Mm-hmm.
at where can you get that one, Robert?
I'm sure you could get it on Amazon.
Okay.
Well, some of these books that I even have here, I only have them because they're signed by the author. Brian
Mm-hmm.
G. Johnson, if you don't know that guy, he's really good for YouTube.
Yeah, Brian uh, uh I subscribe to his channel. He's awesome for YouTube,
Rich
definitely.
Wellens, he was a
I
big
used to
key
have so
man
many great books.
for JV Zoo.
Okay.
Yeah. Hell, damn, what's his name? Zimmerman, the co-owner of
Mm-hmm.
you at one point in time.
Brian
Brian,
Zimmerman.
I did business with that dude at one point in time.
Sounds like you need to add one more thing to your website.
Oh, what's that?
Readables,
Yeah.
Reading.
suggested readings,
That's
Mm-hmm.
not a bad suggestion at all.
and get an Amazon
For
code or
sure.
something.
You know what I used to love, Robert, is when I don't know. There was this one group that was very popular back in the day, and they would have the giveaways, and he would give away. He would go out and buy the books, and then in his meeting, he would give away the books. And he would sign them, even though they weren't his books. He would sign them because it was
How funny.
motivational. People love to hear their books. Love to get
That's
books. So,
cool and funny. I remember actually winning a book, and it was Gary Vaynerchuk's Crush It book. That's the only
that's a
other
good one.
one that I've read that I don't have anymore. But that's a great book. Dr. Lisa, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yes, thank you. Great job today. I had to pop in and out, but
Hey, no
I
worries, no
caught
worries.
some great value and I'll
Good.
go back. But I just wanted to say one one added benefit of documenting your wins is number one, you build a track record of wins for yourself, but
Mhm.
also when it's time to make a bio or when it's time to tell a story or when it's time to go on stage, then you've got something, oh yeah, I did that. Oh yeah, they'll like to hear that. Or, so things that we forget about, um, they are trophies, you
Yeah,
know.
certainly.
So if we don't document them, we can lose them.
Part of the hero journey. And yes, and that's why the smart people around here always got backup. What you got, Rita?
It's funny, real quick, I had a story from the whether or not the choice that you have. And when I was in high school, I argued with my um, health teacher that I said, you don't always have a choice in life. And he said, yeah, you have a choice. I said, okay, so like if somebody has a gun on you and they say they're going to rape you, like you don't really have a choice. He said, yeah, you have a choice. You get raped or you get killed. You still have a choice. And I was like, oh boy, that set me up for life.
Yeah, that's pretty direct and a little deeply rooted in the scar tissue.
But I apply that to, the same story you shared. I could relate to that because even though it was like very direct, but I asked a very direct question. And to me, you never had a choice, but yeah, you do. So, yep, totally.
When it comes to the message at hand today, right, and how to lead when you're not in charge, I guess to me, if you want to pull it out in one sentence or two, however long it takes me, it's just understanding what the situation is whenever you're in that situation and how you're able to influence, that's the key word, that entire room or that situation. If you've ever heard me talk about that, right, Rita? How I like to influence wherever I go, even if it's to a restaurant. I want to take my energy in and lay it where I want to, not where they want to put me. And that's leading, even if I'm not in charge, right? You could look at it as something as simple as that. But if we accept things and we just allow people to just lead us, this is a big one, lead us blindly, because there's a lot of that shit that goes on, right? Then you might find yourself in the back row and you can't see the concert, man. So lead, even when you're not in charge. Learn these little things. If you have to go back, watch it again. It's up on the YouTube. We'll have it posted in the group here later today, and very, very, very soon we're gonna have a website that you'll be able to log into and even upgrade if you want to be part of the inner circle where we meet twice a month. It's going to be pretty awesome. So appreciate y'all being here. Did you get the transcript there, Vicky? So one moment, please. So
She had
let's
that.
go out there. Let's kick some ass, take some names, and have a fantastic week. We'll see some of you guys for How To Tuesday and Wednesday. Toot toot, love you. Bye bye.